With Florida's new legislative session just weeks away, lawmakers are pushing forward with new bills, including a proposed aimed at addressing property damage caused by fallen trees and shrubs. House Bill 599, also known as the Fallen Tree Act, so dramatic, was introduced by Representative Nan Cobb. Yeah, you know Nan.
Yeah.
Go pick a place I've been to about 5 or 6 restaurants, and you know Nan. So I had to. If you have a name, right? And don't I like it?
I have no idea what's going on right now.
So good. That song is everything. If you have a name like Nan, I have to celebrate you every day with that song.
Yeah.
So Nan Cobb, who just got celebrated, seeks to change liability laws when trees or branches fall out into neighborhood properties. Under current law, property owners can trim overhanging branches and roots that cross over into their land. However, if a tree is rooted on 2 separate properties, both owners must agree before it can be removed. Sometimes leaving homeowners at the risk of the tree is unstable. If passed, House Bill 599 would make property owners liable for any damage caused by their trees or shrubs falling into a neighbor's property. Yikes. It would also allow homeowners to remove trees growing across property lines within 30 days. That's interesting. Within notice of the other property's owner. The only exemption applies to properties larger than 5 acres. Lawmakers argue that the bill would prevent unfair financial burdens on homeowners who suffer damage from a neighbor's tree while ensuing a clear legal process for tree removal and disputes. If approved, the Tree Fallen Act would go in effect by July 1. Troy, what you got?
All right, I can tell you this. I didn't know this law was the way the law was. And when Blake was a baby, I was living on Drake Road, and a tornado came through, and it knocked over a tree. I mean, a big oak tree, water oak tree, and it fell on the house right next door. And it fell on the roof and did some damage to their roof. So I called my insurance company, and my insurance company goes, "It's not our problem."
Really?
And it was clearly on my property. This was a big tree, clearly on my property. It fell on my neighbor's house, and my neighbor had to have his insurance company take care of it. And
That's crazy.
It was entirely on my. I mean, like everything was on my side. So, but the really weird part of this story is, that house that tree fell on. Rebecca later lived in that house. I had already sold the house.
Yeah, not knowing
we had never met each other.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but that's cool. the boys. We owned the house across the street too, because the boys were raised by their grandmother, because both their mom and I had to work full time, like we were trying to really get our lives going.
Is they call that Big Mama's house?
Yeah, it's Big Mama's house. It's Big Mama's house. So directly across from Big Mama's house. But at my house,
speaking your native tongue, sir.
Yeah, Big Mama's house. And my tree fell on there, and I never knew that rule existed until that day. And I was probably 28, 29 years old before I figured out that rule.
So do you think this House bill is a good thing, or is this going to like muddy the water?
Well, I think it's going to be hard, of how they implement it, because, and it could cause some conflicts between neighbors too. Like right now, the rule's been what the rules is, and it's just kind of like everybody has insurance.
Right.
So I don't know.
We have Christy coming on this week, so maybe she can clear some of this up too.
Yeah, I think it's more of a Christy question of how it's going to be implemented.
Yeah.
But I could see it being some conflicts between neighbors.
I mean, because tree removal is no joke, right? It's super expensive.
Yeah.
Like especially some of these big mamas out there. Rick, have you ever had a tree removed?
Yes, I have. It's expensive.
Tell me the process. What's it like?
I have two coming out today.
No.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, to do it the right way, you can have a chain in a truck come do it for $50 in a case of beer. But if you want it done correctly and actually have things around it that could be disturbed,
because the roots, right? That's a thing.
That doesn't really work in the city. You got to.
Yeah. Of course, you have like ultra
historic people to come out.
Yeah, ultra HOA. Yeah, it's like super HOA.
That don't work in the city. They got a tree guy.
The Historic Council of Roots and Premeditation will be at your door to make sure you're paying your way.
If you're far enough away and it's on a Saturday and no one knows, okay,
you can get away with it.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the insurance company kind of not taking responsibility and
Yeah.
just making the homeowners and everybody do their own due diligence. And then, in fact, like you said, the insurance is always going to put their hands up typically and go, "It's you.
It's the other
we don't
guy.
cover that."
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Yeah, it's the other guy.
So I don't know.
The insurance company is always going to point, but I can tell you, I have 2 not so big trees, but they are around power lines, and it's $800 for them to come out, and they're not big.
Right.
I mean, if it was away from the power lines, I would take them down myself.
Right.
Now, will insurance help you take that down, or no?
No.
That you just have to do that yourself.
No, these are trees that died because of the flooding.
Yeah.
So I mean, these trees aren't that old, but the salt water in my front yard basically killed these trees.
God sakes, 800 times 2. No bueno. You can't make payments on that one.
Yes. And that's not even feel real good about it when it's done. Like, oh, now you can see this or do that. I just have to do that for safety. Dang.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There goes my privacy.